Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here?
AdvBlueDude.
Oh wow, that's very enthusiastic.
I try. Truly, I,
Okay, yes. And welcome to Nuts and Bolts, the show where we dive into amusement parks from the other side of the Disney pond.
yeah, speaking of pond, today we're talking about Magic Mountain.
That has nothing to do with a pond whatsoever.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, I try.
Let's see, Magic Mountain, the closest thing I'd equate to a pond is probably like the body of the water that the jet stream log flume kind of goes
Perfect.
through. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there you go.
Because that's what we're talking about today, because that just
There you go.
closed. The Jetstream water ride just closed today. Rocky Mountain Coasters has already swooped in, and they're making the first log flume with loopity-loops. And prepare, because there's no lap bars.
Oh no. The sad thing is, this is something that I honestly think could possibly happen in the future. Just Rocky Mountain just having a monopoly over everything. You remember the age-old joke on Disney forums used to be that they're going to close Space Mountain and add a loop to it?
Yeah.
Well, my God.
It's happening.
Has that joke come around?
I can just picture them in a boardroom. Like, what do we do next? I got it. Drop tower.
With a loop. That's actually fucking incredible if they could pull it off.
It just goes straight up, then it like twists and keeps going up.
Oh god. Well,
Why have we not patented this?
I don't know. Why has Rocky Mountain not patented this yet? We need to jump.
I'm gonna patent this. Let's call it George C. Scott.
That should be the next project in whatever armchair Imagineering contest you do next. Just create a drop tower
with a loop-a-de-loop.
I don't care how you do it. Just figure it out.
Just go.
I would be so down for trying to. Okay, but anyways. In spite of our laughter, in spite of our jokes, we're really just masking the pain, aren't we, AdvBlueDude?
I was thinking about the National Lampoon's Vacation, and then I just got sad because I remember that John Candy was in that movie, and then I got sadder because Chevy Chase's career is dead, and yeah.
Oh god. So of course we are here to eulogize and say goodbye to a dear friend. Honestly, guys, I've got to tell you, I have been racking my mind, and as a theme park enthusiast my whole life, the closure of Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain is probably the most personally upsetting closure to a ride that I've ever experienced. I mean, partly because I just didn't get a last ride on it. Partly because I've lived through other closures, like, the Tomorrowland 1998 debacle where the People Mover and the subs and everything were closed. But I never got to experience the People Mover or subs for myself. Colossus, on the other hand, it's such a good wooden roller coaster. It's essentially the castle of Magic Mountain. It's essentially the icon of Magic Mountain. It's like, and I love the fortress-like design of the whole thing.
Mm.
It's got such a great track design. It's got a ton of bunny hills. It was such a good wooden roller coaster, and I'm sure Rocky Mountain's going to come in and do something cool, but I don't know. At the same time, it's kind of a shame. I think Apocalypse is a perfectly good wooden roller coaster on its own at Magic Mountain, but I gotta say, with Colossus's reputation and iconic status, I really feel like if they were going to add an Iron Mountain construction or a Rocky Mountain construction coaster, Apocalypse probably would have been the one to do it on. But yeah. AdvBlueDude, you've never ridden Colossus or been to Magic Mountain, so what do you think of this?
I mean, I was still sad by it because Colossus was such an iconic coaster.
It really was. Yeah.
It's really weird how Six Flags just kind of said, hey guys, most iconic coaster on the West Coast is closing in a month. It just kind of
Oh, they marketed the living holy hell out of it, and I was
well,
right.
they did.
Oh my god.
It's just weird how just suddenly they deem that it's going to be closing.
They essentially milked the nostalgia for all it was worth.
Yeah. What
Like they
else?
even, like put up like National Lampoon displays everywhere.
Yeah. What else pisses me off is that the last day the ride was open, they weren't even running both trains.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing because they ran both trains for Fright Fest last year,
Did
one
they?
forward, one backwards. So it's
Oh.
not like it's incapable of doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The lines the last day were absolutely insane. It looks like, and I gotta say, I did want to go. I did want to plan a trip there initially on the last day, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm really glad. It so wouldn't have been fucking worth it. I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong. If you were there on that last day and got the whole like I got my last ride on Colossus button and everything, more power to you. Kudos. That's awesome. I wish I could have been there. Practicality wise, it probably would, especially because Magic Mountain is one of those rare things that it's like, if I'm gonna go there, it's basically like, if I go there when it's really crowded, it's kind of a waste of a trip. I'm not gonna get to go there again for several years, so it's really depressing.
Mm.
Oh god, oh yeah. But yeah, I don't know. There's been there's been a lot of interesting kind of developments. First of all, guess what? A crane has been spotted in the parking lot already. So yeah, so they're not wasting any time. They're going to get right to work. But it's going to be really interesting to see what they take away and what they keep. And that is, oh man, like that's just a project unto itself. You know what I mean? Just like watching that whole thing unfold and how they're going to dismantle it.
Mm.
But I don't know. But with the big thing, you want to get into your whole anti-Rocky Mountain rant.
Let me say one thing first that I was just thinking about. It's not going to be a racer.
What?
It's not going to be a racer.
Why?
Think about it. The second track was already closed.
Yeah.
The day after they closed it, they had cranes on the track,
Okay.
which makes me think that if the last day the ride was open, they had the one track closed because they were prepping it for removal,
Oh boy.
which worries me.
Yeah, because we were kind of talking about this before the show. Like, I don't know, Rocky Mountain has kind of got like their coasters look awesome, and there's enough variety to them where they do kind of distinguish themselves. But at the end of the day, it is kind of just like, hey, look at our really steep drop and
Yeah.
our zero G roll and our barrel roll. That's about it.
Oh, no, it was Six Flags, a wooden coaster with a loop. Like that's essentially what they do at every fucking park. It's like, hey, look, we got a roller coaster. The track's red now. Goes straight up, goes straight down. It doesn't. It
Yeah,
it just
they kind of
bothers
look like
me.
a red track. Yeah.
It just bothers me because they do it. They're doing it in every park, and I know I probably shouldn't say this because you didn't appreciate it when I said it either. But it's kind of like Six Flags Next Mind Eraser. Not to say, not talking about quality at all. Just putting that out there. Like Rocky Mountain coasters, like they're great. I'm sure I haven't actually been on one, but I'm sure they're great. But I mean, in the sense that Six Flags is going apeshit and putting a Rocky Mountain coaster in every park, or rather, not putting a Rocky Mountain coaster in every park, closing a beloved wooden coaster. Well, not a beloved wooden coaster. Closing a wooden coaster in every closing a wooden coaster in every park, and then adding a red track and adding loops. And they're doing it in every park. And to be totally honest, from what I've seen, a lot of them are similar. I mean, they do have defining features, but they're still kind of the same thing where, like, it has a straight down drop, it has a few crazy corkscrews, it has a vertical loop. it's kind of, yeah.
You know, honestly, my biggest issue with them is that it's kind of like I'd like it a lot more if they kept, like, if they just added the looping elements and added the inversions and everything, but tried to make the actual ride experience more like a classic wooden roller coaster.
Oh, so would I. Like, I
And
wish...
like, hey, you know, this just happens to be a wood coaster, but here's just like a few inversions, and now we're back at the station.
Especially with Colossus.
Right,
I
right.
honestly don't think they would, but I really wish they would make the ride, build the ride as a tribute to Colossus. Where it has some of
There was
the...
a picture that was released on Facebook like a couple days before Colossus closed.
Mhm.
That was like, it was a weird thing. It was like, hey, try to guess the name of the coaster that's replacing Colossus. And then they had all these things like, what it was like the letters of the alphabet, and for each letter a different word. It would correspond to a different word. And so you match the letter of your first name with the letter of your last name.
Yeah.
But Colossus was under the last name category, so you think that it's got to be something Colossus.
Oh, it would be.
A lot of people are speculating Ultimate Colossus.
It'd be better than Iron Colossus.
Yes, it would. Because Iron Colossus doesn't really even make a whole ton of sense.
No. But I really wish and I really hope they would design the coaster to be a tribute to Colossus. Where it's not exactly Colossus, but it still has remnants of the former ride. And you can tell that it was built as like a loving tribute to one of the most famous rides on the West Coast.
Like, I think the most iconic part of Colossus is probably the second turnaround hill. And it'd be great if they just left that, if not completely intact, maybe almost like a replica.
Yeah.
You know, that one element is just visually, like, that's what I love that Colossus looks like a fortress. You know what I mean? There's so much wood in there. And it's like, and it'd be interesting. Honestly, I do think it'd be interesting to see Rocky Mountain tackle a more sort of traditional wooden roller coaster double and back design.
Oh, yeah.
I think Colossus is like one of the kings of double and back. Because that's, like, that ride, it's like, if you watch a POV of it, it's really quite staggering just how many times it literally goes around the entirety of the course like 3 times through all kinds of bunny hills. It's ridiculous.
What I'd really like to see the ride keep its skyline. Because it has, like, a really nice look to it. At least, like, I think the first lift hill and drop is the most iconic of the part of the ride. Going solely by look.
Unfortunately, though, you know that's going to be a part that they're going to...
I know, and that's what makes me sad.
Yeah,
because, I mean, not only from the height of it, but also because of vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, and you have to wonder, like, are they going to make it bigger? Are they going, because at the moment, it's like, I believe Colossus is like maybe like 130, 140 feet, something like that. So it's like, are they going to like build it up? It's interesting, like, if they build it up to like something like 200 feet, then you have the possibility of it kind of like interacting with Goliath even more than it already does. Which is an interesting proposition. That's one of the things I've actually been really curious about that not many people are talking about, is how this new ride is going to interact with Goliath.
Yeah.
Because I think Goliath being placed like right in the center of Colossus was ingenious. Or I mean, like, rather Goliath pretty much like Colossus is in the center of Goliath.
Yeah.
It's ingenious. It really is. So, I'd love it if they made the hills somewhat bigger, so that you're kind of like interacting with Goliath a little more. I mean, and of course you got to have the loops in there, and you got to have the 0G elements. But like if you read my my pitch for an Iron Roar, which I posted on So You Want to Be an Imagineer, Basically what I pitched was like, I pitched it in a way that it kept like most of the original track design while still incorporating the traditional Rocky Mountain elements. Like, so basically what I pitched was that there'd be like the first drop would have an additional section of track connected to it that would then go into a 0G roll at the bottom of the first drop and then connect back into the track. You know what I mean? So essentially what you're doing is you're just kind of creating, like, more track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But still maintaining most of the rest of the ride. So, I don't know. I think it'd be really interesting if they tried to go that route. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's quite a pickle there. Because, I don't know, you know. There's been protests to save this ride. It's really not something that people are sitting down and taking lightly. Especially because it's like the thing with Rocky Mountain is that like I'm all for them coming in and taking out coasters that should be replaced and that really do have obvious flaws in them. I'm all for that. And Colossus was not the most well taken care of coaster in the world. It really, I mean, let's be honest, it really wasn't. It did definitely have a bumpiness factor to it. The seats were padded to an absurd degree because it was so uncomfortable. I think those are problems that could have been taken care of with an extensive refurbishment and not just like, well, fuck Colossus.
Oh, yeah.
A big problem with Colossus was they added too many brakes to it. I think if they found a way to redo the brake system, they could have salvaged it. I don't know. Do you want to talk a little bit about the ride that's closing on your side of the country?
The Cyclone is closing over at Six Flags New England. Honestly, this one I'm okay with, because, I mean, it could be, I haven't really been on it a whole lot of times, but, it was kind of like the weird, estranged cousin of Six Flags New England, where it was a good coaster, but it was way in the back. It was kind of in like the weird, like back dark corner of the park that nobody likes to talk about.
Yeah,
well, yeah, 2 boomerangs and a Woody. That's great.
Oh God.
But honestly, I have high hopes for this one. Partially because it's the first on the East Coast, the first Iron Rocky Mountain construction.
Midwest. Huh. That's interesting.
What? Yeah. So, I mean, I have high hopes for it. It'll be interesting. Definitely.
But do you think would you be pissed if it was just basically like, hey guys, look, we got a 90-degree drop and a couple of loops, yeah, and that's about it?
I mean, taking into account that it's the first on the East Coast, I'm okay with them doing what they normally do. Also for the fact that I don't think the Cyclone really had any defining features.
Was the Cyclone just a clone of the Coney Island Cyclone?
Not as far. I don't believe so.
No? Because there's a lot of cyclones across the country that are.
It could be. I don't believe so.
Magic Mountain had one, actually.
Did they?
Yeah, that's where Apocalypse is now.
Oh, okay.
Actually, if you go back to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, they actually have that.
No, it's weird because Six Flags New England has 2 Woodies. It has the Cyclone and the Thunderbolt. Oh. So, yeah, they like Coney Island. I mean, it could be, but I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been on the Cyclone. I want to, desperately. But I just haven't made it down to Coney Island.
The iconic thing about the Cyclone is the first drop going into the big turnaround. So does it have a big turnaround after the first drop?
It's been a while. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, I never go to that part of the park.
Yeah, I hear you. I
do want to go to Coney Island, though. They have a real Wonder Wheel.
Yeah, which I'd never ride, ever.
Oh, you bastard.
Ever.
Not even for the novelty to say that I've been on an original Wonder Wheel.
I'd ride the stationary side of it.
Okay.
Even then, I'd be leery of it because of the age of the thing and the fact that you're just fucking, like, right above concrete.
But There's like 2 left in the world.
Yeah, and I went on one, and it scared the shit out of me.
No, I mean original ones.
Oh, what's the other one?
I don't know, but I remember hearing that there's 1 or 2.
Oh, huh, that's
I'm gonna look it up actually. Keep talking, don't ignore me.
Well, anyways, I don't know, just back to Colossus nostalgia, I guess, to round it out. Did you hear about the guy that, did you hear about the 36-hour marathon?
I have not.
This is great. So, yeah, they did a 36-hour marathon on Colossus, which was essentially a contest, like an endurance contest.
Hmm.
And, a theme park review member named Caesar won.
Oh.
And he did about 300 laps, and he actually has a really good trip report up on Theme Park Review if you want to look into that. It's
Okay.
really fun, because he talks about like the whole process of it, like how they give out like a 15-minute bathroom break every hour, but they were like super strict about the return times, and you would get kicked out like if you were even like a second late from the return times. Stuff like that, stuff how he strategically planned when he eat and stuff, really, really fun stuff. And he says the thing that almost killed him was when Colossus went down for maintenance, so they had to marathon Apocalypse instead for 3 hours. And honestly, I thought that was kind of weird because it's like, based on my experiences, Colossus is the one that rocks you around like hell. Like I said, the seats are so padded because it's such an uncomfortable ride. But honestly, I think Apocalypse is smooth, man. Like, it's pretty fast, but I personally see myself doing a marathon of Apocalypse before Colossus.
Yeah.
Then again, I've done my marathons of Giant Dipper before, and Giant Dipper is essentially just a mini Colossus. That's the thing. Colossus is basically, like, design-wise, it's got a lot of similarities to the Giant Dipper. It's almost like, I want to say it's almost perfectly, like, a double Giant Dipper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's twice the size, it's twice the drops, it's twice the turns, but it's the same basic track structure. It's interesting. All right, well, yeah, I don't know. I guess the last thing I have to say is, I first went on Colossus in the summer of 2009. It was right after I graduated high school, and it wasn't the most thrilling or, most extreme coaster in Magic Mountain, but gosh darn it, it's a sentimental favorite, and it's very sad to see it go. And
I have never been on Colossus.
AdvBlueDude, I really hope that you're wrong about them with the dueling elements. But
So do I.
That's one of the things that we're going to keep a hawk's eye on is just what they take, because now that they've got cranes in there already, oh boy, it's it's going to be a fun time scrutinizing every last detail about what they take away, what they leave. Oh man. Oh, it's going to be fun. And of course, actually 10 days from now, I believe, August 28th, is when we do get the Six Flags announcements for 2015, which I'm very much looking forward to. So all will be revealed then. I will probably do a show that day. And, yeah. So any last words on your end, AdvBlueDude, for this great coaster that you never got to ride?
No.
No. Just no.
No.
Come on.
John Candy will be dearly missed. He was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful security officer at Wally World. And when faced with danger, he took the stand and rode that coaster. He rode it all across the land. I'm AdvBlueDude.
No,
Thank you for watching.
Good night, everyone.